You've been praying for direction. God's been nudging you. He's been giving you ideas, giving you thoughts, giving you visions on what you should be doing. Yet fear is keeping you frozen. If that sounds like you, I'm not here to judge you. In fact, I know the feeling all too well. And that is why you have come across this podcast today. So before you turn away, know that I am not here to judge you. I am simply here to help you. And I want you to understand by the end of this video that God is not asking you to be ready. He just needs you to be willing. So let's get right into today's episode. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ebby Faith, and I am a full-time Christian entrepreneur, coach, mentor, speaker, and podcast host. And my main goal is simply to help equip other women who are stuck in fear or stuck playing small so that they can begin to step boldly into what God is calling them to do, to get clarity on their vision and to build businesses that align with God's purpose. So if that is something that you are wanting to do, you're going to want to stay throughout this whole video. So today I want to talk about what to do when God told you to do something, but you are too scared. Now, once again, I want to say no judgment because I have been there. Matter of fact, I have spent years and years and years building different businesses that were completely unaligned with what God was calling me to do. And I wasted so much time trying to do things on my own, trying to build things out of alignment, trying to do anything but what God was calling me to do simply because I was fearful. I was scared and I was insecure. But by the grace of God, I took these steps that I'm going to give you through this episode today. And I have been able to completely overcome these fears and these insecurities of stepping into what God has called me to do. And now, a year or two later, I am fully walking in what he is calling me to do and taking those daily steps of obedience. And that is the most important part. So that is what I want to help you do today so that you don't have to go through years and years of spinning your wheels and sitting in fear and doing things that are completely unaligned with what God called you to do. So let's get right into it. So the first thing you want to do if God is telling you to do something, maybe he's given you a vision, maybe he's given you a dream, maybe he's told you to quit a certain job, maybe he's nudging you to start a business, maybe he's nudging you to step into entrepreneurship, whatever it is. If you are feeling this nudge, chances are you are if you have clicked on this episode. So I want to really pinpoint actionable steps that you can do starting today to take steps towards pushing past this fear so that we can begin to truly step into obedience. Because one thing I always say is delayed obedience is still disobedience. So if God is calling us to do something, if he's nudging you to do something, if he's putting something on your heart and you are deliberately doing the opposite, that is disobedience. Or if you keep telling yourself, I'll start soon, I'll do this later, once I'm ready, once I don't feel as scared, once I feel more prepared. If you are giving yourself all of these excuses, I hate to be the one to say it, but that is still disobedience. Okay, so we need to break past this disobedience, break past this fear, and really start to walk boldly in what God is calling us to do. So, point number one of what to do if you are feeling scared. We have to acknowledge the fear. I know that sounds like the opposite of what we're trying to do here, but step one is acknowledging that the fear is there. Now, this does not mean partnering with it. This does not mean accepting it. This does not mean sitting in it. This means acknowledging that the fear is there. We have to recognize where that fear is coming from. Is it a fear of rejection? Is it a fear of failing? Is it a fear of feeling like you're not enough or you're not qualified to step into what he is calling you to do or to take those steps? Where does that fear come from? The best way to get past these fears is to acknowledge that it's there and to recognize why it's there. Call yourself out. This is something that I had to do. When I started to realize that I was extremely insecure, that I didn't feel like I was qualified enough, that I felt like I didn't speak well enough or I didn't know enough, when I started to acknowledge all of these were fears and lies from the enemy, that is when I was able to begin taking the next steps and releasing it. I had to understand that these were lies of the enemy, but I had to recognize why I had these fears. And some of them stem back to childhood. So call yourself out and recognize that the fear is there. That is okay to recognize it, but we are not going to partner with it and we are not going to sit in it. There's a quote that says, faith does not cancel fear, it overrides it. right? So it's okay that that fear is there. We are human. We're going to feel different types of fears, but your faith should override that fear. Okay, so now that we have acknowledged that the fear is there, point number 2, you have to remember who sent you. God's instruction carries his provision. So if God is calling you to it, he is going to walk you through it. You're not stepping out alone. You are stepping in with him. And this is what we have to realize. If God is putting something on our hearts to do, if God is telling you to start that business, if he is telling you to start showing up online, showing up on YouTube, if he is telling you to quit that job or whatever he is telling you and pressing you to do, know that he is going to carry you through it. Now, that does not mean it is going to be sunshine and rainbows through the process, because if he is calling you to something or out of something, there's probably going to be a pruning process that has to happen also. It's understanding that he will guide your steps. If you look biblically, there are so many examples in the Bible of God calling people into something or out of something to where they may have been fearful, but God walked them through it. Even look at the story of David. Do we not think he was afraid to have to go and battle Goliath? Like, he was probably feeling some type of fears, right? But he knew that his faith overrides his fears. So he understood that it was there, but that God had him through it if he was calling him to it. So point number 2 is remembering who sent you. God has got you. Now, point number 3, and this is a very important one, start even if you're starting small, okay? So a lot of times we feel like if God is putting something on our heart to do, that we have to try to figure out how to jump completely into it, or we have to figure out all of the steps up front. We have to be completely ready to jump full force into it. And that is not the case. Obedience often looks like one small step at a time, right? So it doesn't have to be jumping all in. It could be taking one action step a day, or coming to God and asking him, like, what is the small step that you need me to take today to start walking in this? Again, we don't have to wait until we're ready to start. That is something that the enemy will consistently use to keep you stuck. Feeling like you have to be ready, feeling like you have to be fully equipped, feeling like you have to be fully knowledgeable, feeling like you are just not quite ready or not quite enough to step into it. But in reality, you just have to take daily steps of obedience and watch what God does in the process. I like to use myself as an example for this one, because literally a year and a half ago, you would have never gotten me to speak on camera, to go live, to build a course, to do YouTube, to do podcasts, none of it. Because I felt like I was not equipped. I felt like I was not ready. I was too fearful. I hated the way my voice sounded. Just all of the lies of the enemy kept me playing so small and kept me stuck and kept me in disobedience from what God was calling me to. But one day I decided, you know what? I cannot let these fears keep me where I am. Like, I'm going in circles, I'm spinning my wheels, I'm doing a whole lot of things that are leading me nowhere. And once I surrendered and once I decided I am going to take steps, even if it's sitting in front of the camera and talking to the camera and never posting it, it got me comfortable creating videos. Even if it was just speaking on my Instagram stories, like something so small that felt really big to me at the time, but something so small, I just decided to take those small steps of action. And now I'm at the point where my business is fully on video. Like, my business is fully speaking and showing up and mentoring and coaching and teaching other women how to be confident and how to build bold businesses that are aligned with God. And that came from small daily steps of obedience. That came from asking God, what is it you want me to do today, or say today, or how can I help someone today? That is where that came from. Small daily action steps that eventually will give you that confidence, that eventually will will shake off some of those fears, because once you start walking in it and realize that God has got you and he will continue to build you, he will continue to equip you in the process, you won't continue playing small. I promise you that. So use me as an example. Literally one of the most shy women you probably could have met. Like, I really could have hid in a corner and been fine and nobody ever see me. But I decided that I was not going to let that hold me back. I was not going to let the tricks of the enemy keep me playing small. So, all that to say, start small, take daily action steps of obedience. Now, point number 4, we have to shift our focus from us to him. I'm going to say that one again so that it really resonates with you. We have to shift our focus from us to him. Fear grows when we look at ourselves, and faith grows when we look at God. Truly understand that. Like, why are we so fearful? We're so fearful because of our own insecurities or our own doubts, right? We're so busy looking at us and what will people think of me and what will my family say? And we're so busy looking at us, we're missing the plot. When we shift our focus to this is about God, this is about serving. Like, God has called me to this for a reason, for someone else, for his kingdom. He's calling me to build a business for him, or step out in some type of entrepreneurship for him, to serve him. He's calling you to do things that will serve the kingdom and serve him. And we're so busy in disobedience because of our own selves, because we're putting ourselves above what God is asking us to do. That one's going to sting a little bit once you really realize the selfishness that comes with sitting in fear and playing small. Trust me, it's going to sting a little bit, but once we get over that, there's freedom there. When we start to make it about him, that pressure turns into purpose. Like, we can really begin just walking boldly in what he's called us to do when we take ourselves out of it and realize that there's a purpose behind it. There's a purpose behind what he's asking you to do. For instance, if he's asking you to quit a job, right? And I'm not trying to tell y'all to quit your job today or nothing like that, so don't get me wrong. But in my instance, right? I have been doing entrepreneurship for 10 plus years, but I was on and off going back into jobs, like trying different things, didn't work, go back into a job, right? And each time he would nudge me to leave the job, but I lacked trust in what he was calling me to do. I wasn't surrendering to him. I wasn't in alignment with what he was calling me to do. So it just felt like, why do you keep pushing me to quit my jobs just for me to go and be broke, right? Like, this doesn't feel right. It wasn't till about maybe 9 months ago that I finally said, this will be the last time I go into a job and quit it, because I know you are not calling me to keep going in and out of jobs like this, right? And once I started to fully step in that obedience and fully realize that this is more than about me, then the game changes and he'll really start to direct your path and lead you. Now I'm approaching a full year of full entrepreneurship and really trying to do things God's way and not my own. And it's completely different. Like, he is moving in so many ways when you start to trust him, start to put your focus on serving others and serving God. Like, it changes things. So if you're out here trying to run a business and do things your own way and start things that are so unaligned with what God is calling you to do, it will be chaotic. It will be hectic. So make sure that you are putting the focus on God and turning that pressure into purpose. Now, my last and final point for what to do when you are feeling scared, if God is telling you to do something, it's simply to move anyway. And that kind of correlates with point number 3 with starting small. But it's just make moves, take steps, understand that God strengthens you as you go. He's not waiting on you to be fully ready. He's just waiting on your obedience. That confidence comes after obedience. You're not just going to convince yourself that I'm now confident and now I can go do what he's calling me to do. You have to start taking steps to build that confidence. Just like the example of me practicing being on camera or starting by making short videos, 30-second videos. Those were all steps of me moving anyway. And now through the process, he has given me so much confidence to now, like, being on video doesn't scare me anymore. You know what I mean? And that's That's over the course of a year, just from taking small steps to now building a full business off of me being on camera. I would have never expected that because I was too afraid and I was too in my own way to even think that that was something that God would be calling me to do. But it just started by taking the small actions and moving anyway. It started by God nudging me to quit the job that I was in and nudging me to trust him and nudging me to get deeper in the word and to truly surrender. It was those daily actions. It was moving anyway. So all of this to say that I truly encourage you, if God is nudging you to start something, to move in a certain way, to remove yourself from something, to build a business that's rooted in him, I nudge you to take all of these points that we went through seriously. I hope you had a notepad. I hope you wrote them down. So it's something that you can continue to look back on daily. Write them down, truly take notes, and truly take action, because these points will help you. They will pull you out of that smallness that you are playing in right now. They will help you build confidence to walk boldly in what God is calling you to do. Honestly, God's the answer. Like, he will equip you. He will guide you through. He will provide for you. But we have to get out of our own way. We have to stop focusing so much on us and focus on him and watch what he does in the process. Watch how he moves. Right? So if you are scared, if God is putting something on your heart, I'm encouraging you today to take an action step. Look at these pointers that we went over and start moving, start taking action, start doing something, and watch how he begins to move. Watch how he begins to equip you. Watch how confident you start to feel in the process. And you'll look back and realize that these fears that we're sitting in are silly. Like, honestly, not even to be rude, but to honestly look back and say the fears that I had of showing up on camera or speaking or building a business that's aligned with God, like the fears that I had were silly. So now we're here and we're going full force in alignment with what God is calling us to do. And we're allowing God to move and to shift and to speak throughout the process. And I just continue to take daily steps of obedience, to take small actions, to move anyway. So I truly hope that you heard and understand these pointers and that you take action, because they will truly free you. Now, if you are ready to go deeper, if you feel like I hear you, but I need a little bit more, my course and mentorship program, Confidence to Conquer, has just launched, and it is truly, truly providing breakthrough for so many women. So if you are ready to conquer the business that God has placed on your heart, if you are ready to push past these fears, stop playing small, stop sitting in disobedience, and truly get to the root of why we're fearful, break past that and start building boldly, then this is going to be the course and mentorship for you. It is truly transformative. I'm going to link it below. So go check it out. Like, truly life-changing. And as someone that has been through it and worked through it and can be a true example of it, understand that I'm truly speaking from the heart here to help you so that you don't have to sit in that fear and continue playing small and continue spinning your wheels and continue staying in survival mode for years and years like I did. Like, I want you to progress faster than I did. So go check it out if that's something that you are ready for. It'll be linked below. If not, but you want to stay connected, I do have Kingdom Glow Circle, which is a free community for women. So go ahead and check that out as well. If you want to join that, get connected with some other women who are on the same journey, then you can do that as well. But until then, thank you so much for listening. I truly hope this encouraged you, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.